Hey, beautiful people, welcome to the Leo July 2020 Tarotscope. Hey, my beautiful Leo babies. I hope you guys are riding the waves of this July energy. It's your girl Shakima. I'm just stopping in for another quick reading for you guys for the July Tarotscope for my Leo babies. And this is going to be a general reading for my Leo Sun, Moon, and Rising. This may also apply to those who may have Venus in Leo as well. So definitely be sure to check out the energies and see how it applies. Just going to do a quick little disclaimer, guys, because these are going to be general readings. It's not going to resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate, do just let it dissipate, okay? But if it does resonate, then definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know how you've been able to effectively utilize the information and the insights that I'm able to provide. If you guys are watching this via my YouTube channel, then be sure to give me a thumbs up. That way I know that you like and appreciate the content. And be sure to subscribe if you like my vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe, okay? I'd be happy to have you. And in terms of the actual energies of what I'm going to be doing, I don't do fortune telling. It's not my forte. I literally just utilize this space to be able to give us some insight to see what spirit is going to be doing for us. So if you have Leo Sun, Moon, or Rising, I'm going to be sort of speaking about what is about to transpire for this July month for you guys, because we're now in a new chapter. So it's going to be very, very interesting. So we're going to utilize the tarot to see where you are in terms of the month of July, what path you're crossing, what's going on in your subconscious mind, which means that this is what your spirit is engaging in terms of your experience, and then what's going on in the conscious mind, which is basically how your human ego is perceiving the experience that you're having. We're also going to be able to close out this space with a final outcome of the month of July to see the energies that you're going to be, leading into the month of August with, as you sort of go into Leo season, because obviously the third week or so of July is going to be your season. So this is essentially a point where you are going to be going through some awakening of some sort. So I'm sure it's going to be interesting because you're having your solar return soon. So let's dive deep and have a look to see what's actually sort of coming up for you guys. So Spirit, where are my Leo babies for the month of July? As clearly as you can, please. Okay, for a lot of you guys, it seems like you've been on a journey. You've been sort of exploring, trying to sort of get a little bit more enthusiastic about your free spirit nature. It seems like for a lot of you guys, you have been burnt out by your career transitions that's been taking place, but who isn't at this point, right? It seems like you're actually going through a turning point, or have been going through a turning point that's been very, very challenging to your ability to sustain your financial security, which is, again, understandable with the current crisis that we've been sort of navigating through for this 2020 scope. But what I will say is that there's a lot of people actually awakening throughout this year. So what I can see is that you'll be able to get a little bit more clarity about the things that affected your ability to plan for yourself. Sometimes we're planning and then like the universe is kind of, they have a saying, we're planning and then God's wiping, because God's like, okay, that's not what I see for you. That's not really where I see you sort of fitting into my picture of things. You'll be able to get some clarity on that. I think as you continue to explore, you'll be able to find what you're looking for. Coming into the energies of this month, one of the things that I can see is that you have a lot of latent talents that you're going to actually realize that you have. And it's really a case of you being able to really identify how you can actually utilize some of those skills. You may also find yourself sort of going through a process this month where there's a lack of teamwork, because certain people are taking, they're kind of disregarding certain skills. So you may be the person that's disregarding someone else's skills, or somebody else may be disregarding your skills. This is just the overall energy that you guys are navigating through for this month. But I see that there's definitely an opportunity for you to recover financially if you can actually tap into some of these latent talents that you have and utilize it for collective consciousness. That's the best way that I can put it. It seems like as you're navigating through the energies of this month, because of the lack of teamwork, there may be sort of situations where you are going through temporary bouts of depression because you're completing certain cycles, and you're going through some sort of situation, it seems, where you are actually by the looks of it, you're looking at the missed opportunities, and that's what's causing a lot of the anxiety. That's what's causing a lot of the bouts and depression that you're going through, Leo. What I would say is that you don't have all the info just yet, because you have a lot of latent skills, like I said, that you haven't tapped into, that you haven't really identified with just yet. So yeah, I'm gonna go deeper into seeing what's actually transpiring for you guys, because Spirit's like, Spirit's saying get on with the cards then. So let's have a little look. Yeah, I'm seeing that there's been a lot of hasty decisions that you made in the past. You may have made a lot of impulsive decisions, and some of those decisions may have been a little bit ruthless at times because of your high expectations. So move out of your head space and move down into your heart space a little bit. What I'm seeing is that you're getting an opportunity. Hey, beautiful. I'm seeing that you're getting an opportunity to be able to stabilize. I'm seeing that you're getting an opportunity basically to find your own financial stability, but first you have to be able to identify what your strengths are. And I think some of your strengths, you've been looking at them as weaknesses, and I'm seeing this a lot for a lot of the signs as we're navigating through all of this emotional turmoil that's coming up to clear the way for what we're sort of going through. We're just kind of, you know, made to feel a certain type of way about ourselves. Let's have a little look and see, because it seems like as you're navigating through the energies of this month, you're dealing with a lot of scattered energy, you're dealing with a lot of scattered thoughts, and you're kind of completely disregarding the consequences because you're a little bit all over the place. Bear in mind, Mercury is in retrograde, and it's going to be in retrograde until the 12th of July, but even then we still have a post-shadow period for another 2 weeks or so. So we literally are still navigating through Mercury retrograde energy until around about the 26th of July. So I'm just trying not to make any hasty decisions, because I can see that you're still learning how to be able to hone your craft. I can see that you're still learning how to be able to communicate to others what it is that this transition is doing to you. And because of the Mercury retrograde as well, you may be challenged in your communication or your ability to communicate exactly what it is that you're navigating through. Let's have a little look and see, where are my Leo babies for the month of July, Spirit? Okay, that was fairly quick, guys. Okay, so you guys are at that place where you're sort of you're feeling a little bit harmonious about the situation. It feels like things are starting to fall into place for you, right? It feels like you're at that place where family dynamics are starting to fall into place. You were really anxious about what is taking place, so you may even still be quite anxious about what's taking place and how it's actually sort of taking place, but I can see, like I said before, you guys are completing a cycle. You're actually learning how to integrate your responsibilities with other people's responsibilities as well, and making sure that everybody is working more as a team, because one of the things that I can see that you guys are navigating through this month is a lack of teamwork. So we all have to figure out what our strengths are and utilize each other, and you don't necessarily have to do everything yourself. It may be worthwhile delegating certain tasks as well, because it seems like you have a support system that actually genuinely wants to be able to help you, but you may sort of be in your ego a little bit, where you're taking on more than your fair share, you're taking on more than you need to, and it's actually sort of beneath the surface causing you to feel a little bit of resentment, if you're completely honest with yourself. So just be mindful of that. Try not to take on more than God is asking you to bear. Okay, what path are my Leo babies crossing for this month of July, Spirit? Because it seems like they're actually going through a little bit of a harmonious experience, but they're feeling a little bit anxious about it. Okay, so many of us, right? I don't know what's going on in this month of July, but Spirit is really asking us to deal with our codependency. We are being triggered left, right, and center to deal with our codependency. So you're dealing with a lot of your own personal insecurities. You're dealing with a lot of your own personal, the best way that I can put it, you kind of, again, I mentioned before that you're looking at your weaknesses, your strengths as weaknesses, because you're still honing that craft, right? Don't be too hard on yourself, because you're still learning how to develop that skill. Don't be too hard on yourself, because you're still learning how to be able to nurture yourself as you develop that skill. What I'm hearing and feeling in my heart space is that there's a lot of scattered thoughts. Come out of your head a little bit, Leo. You kind of have to go down into your heart to really understand what these scattered thoughts are all about, because generally speaking, the information comes to our hearts, and then our mind tries to perceive what's going on in our heart. So if you can dive within your heart, you can connect to your subconscious mind and actually get more of a unified experience to observe these insecurities that are actually coming up. I think this harmonious experience that you're having, why you're probably feeling anxious about it, is because there's a part of you that may not necessarily feel that you deserve it. And as I say that, I'm getting emotional. So there's a part of you that is still probably feeling lack of self-worth, for lack of a better way of putting it. That's probably one of the things that I would recommend that you sort of work on for this month, because you're going to be navigating through it regardless, because that's what Spirit's basically trying to show you how worthy you are. Spirit's really trying to show you that, you know, you have a light all of your own that you can utilize, but first you have to know how to tap into it, how to be able to utilize it, how to drive it forward, right? So it's a very, very interesting month for you guys. But what I will say is you're going to need to tap into your feminine energy, and your feminine energy lies here, guys. Your masculine energy lies here. So dive deep within to your feminine energy, dive deep within to your heart space to be able to balance some of these insecurities, because a lot of it is old wounds that hasn't necessarily been dealt with. And because you haven't dealt with some of those wounds, it's almost like spirit is really trying to bless you right now, and you're feeling anxious about receiving the blessings that you're receiving. You're worthy of it. For anybody that is like questioning whether or not you're worthy, right? And it's not about humans' perspective of worth. It's not about, you know, the way that we engage with each other. Like, God is saying, do you know what, this is how I see you in my image, and that's all I need to know. You're worthy. You are imperfect as you are, but I love you nonetheless. So try and love your imperfections as well, because I think that that's the thing that spirit's really trying to sort of take us all through this month. Damn. What's going on in the subconscious mind for my Leo babies for the month of July, spirit, because it seems pretty intense. What's going on in the subconscious mind as they're receiving all of this awesomeness that you're trying to bestow upon them? As clearly as you can, please. It seems like in the subconscious mind you're even scattered there as well. Yeah, in the subconscious mind, and I already called it, there's a lot of latent talents that you're dealing with, and the subconscious mind is basically trying to highlight some of your talents that you haven't necessarily been utilizing. There's skills that you've completely disregarded, right, because you've kind of been taking on more than you need to, because you're not utilizing the rest of your team in the way that they need to be utilized as well. Because the best way that I can put it is almost like if you are telling yourself a story that they can't do the job the way that you can do it, you're taking something away from them, because the reality is if you show them how you need for it to be done, they can put their own spin on it, you know. And for all you know, that's literally the purpose that spirit had in mind for them, to be able to navigate to that next phase of their journey. So take your ego out of the equation a little bit and see where you can actually allow for somebody else to be able to grow, and you'll actually be able to grow in the process as they go through their own ascension this month. I'm seeing that there are obstacles that you're navigating through at the minute as well, and you're learning how to manipulate some of those obstacles. You may find yourself as well being in a place where you may feel manipulated by others. So that's something that you need to, absolutely beautiful, that's something that you may need to sort of focus on for this month, because what I'm seeing, right, it's almost like it's one of those situations where you're overwhelmed and you're almost at that point where you want to give up, and spirit's saying, no, this is your breakthrough moment. This is your moment to persevere. Don't give up. Give in, you know, give in. Let your ego fall to the wayside. Let your ego is going to get bruised whenever spirit is taking us through an awakening or an ascension of any sort. Our ego is going to get bruised in the process, because it's learning how to expand, it's learning how to grow in its capacity to see its reality. So just let your ego die, for lack of a better way of putting it. It's a part of your identity that is dying, so that you can become the version of yourself that spirit sees you as, that your spirit of Christ consciousness sees you as. So let it happen, guys. Don't try not to be too resistant to it, because I can see like you feel overwhelmed. It does feel exhausting. It does feel like you're taking on too much. And this is why I said to you, delegate. Don't tell yourself this story that they're not capable, because you'll get what you expect. Okay. Tell yourself that they are not yet capable. So utilize your words very, very selectively. They aren't yet capable to do it in the way that you would like for it to be done, but maybe show them. And like I said, they'll be able to put their own spin on it. But what I'm seeing for you guys, it seems like you're learning how to balance head and heart. You're learning how to balance things a little bit. That's what these obstacles are really trying to show you, because obstacles are technically detours in the right direction, right? Our ego thinks that we're going one direction, but spirit's like, no, this is where I need you, so this is where you need to go. And it seems like as you're sort of navigating through what's going on in your subconscious mind, there's a lack of foresight, so you're not able to see the long-term scope, which is you need to do everything. And the long-term scope is you're going to need to delegate to be able to achieve what it is that you want. So just bear that in mind, guys, 100%. What is in the conscious mind for my Leo babies for the month of July, spirit? Because it seems like, yeah, it seems like they're going through a little bit of unsurety. Okay, so in the conscious mind, you guys are building this foundation, but you're dissatisfied with it. Why? Because you're being a little bit materialistic. Spirit's just calling it what it is. Spirit's saying that you're being a little bit greedy in terms of how you want things to be in the 3D, and you kind of just have to accept where you are so that you can grow more into where spirit is trying to take you. So what I would say with that is that let go. try to, anyways, I'm going to say try to let go of your attachment to what it needs to look like, what it's supposed to feel like, and just accept it as it is, because where spirit is trying to take you is much more of a solid foundation for you. Okay, you've got the Emperor energy in your conscious mind. Like, this is a major arcana, guys, and in your subconscious mind you've got the Magician in reverse. So spirit is actually leading this one, okay, and spirit is leading it so that you can get to a place where you can solidify the foundations that you're trying to build. And this is going to be like a very quick transition. There's going to be some sort of communication that's coming in, where it's going to be, it's almost like a eureka moment I'm sort of hearing. It's almost like you can finally see how to be able to utilize the skills that you have, but this may not necessarily come for you until around about, I want to say, the end of the second week, the third week. I am going to go deeper, guys, and sort of like have a look at the week by week trajectory for you guys for the month of July, so not to worry, I've got you. But yeah, spirit's definitely trying to set the foundations a little bit more solid. Right now it feels shaky, is what spirit's saying. Okay, what is the outcome for, okay, the outcome for you guys for this month of July, guys? So it seems like you guys are actually learning how to make better decisions, guys. Yeah, you guys are learning how to make better decisions as you navigate through the month of July. What I can see is that your romantic relationships are actually going to be very much in a positive place. I can also see that there are other relationships as well that are starting to fall into alignment. What I can see as well is that you have to try not to be too aggressive in asking for what you need. You kind of have to, again, just come down into your heart center, guys, and utilize your mind to be able to connect with your heart. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We're supposed to utilize them both. You know, the heart is trying to communicate to the mind, and the mind is seeking to understand the heart. So if you're needing to communicate anything, because I'm seeing that you're getting a lot of downloads as you're navigating through this month of July. It seems like it's one of those months, right? It's just going to be flowing through our crown chakra for this month. But I can see that you're getting a lot of downloads in terms of your career transition that you're navigating through, and it seems like for the most part, a lot of you Leo babies are going to be a little bit restless, you know, because there's so much, like I said, there's so many downloads that's coming through the crown chakra, and you're trying to process them all at once. The best thing that I can say whenever we're getting sort of like downloads, the heart, because the heart is a part of the emotional body, let the heart do the processing and then engage with what your mind is sort of seeking to understand, and ask questions as well, because the guides are there and they actually, like, it's our inner tuition, you know, we are learning, we're literally in the school of life. So ask questions. If you don't know something, ask your guides. They are wanting to communicate, they are willing to communicate, they communicate telepathically from your subconscious mind. So just ask and you shall receive. And if you're still working on that connection with your guides, if you're still working on engaging in that conscious awareness of the connection that's taking place in your subconscious mind, they'll be able to show you external signs. They'll be able to show you external signs through synchronicities. What I will say as well is that you might find yourself being really quite talkative as well as you're getting all of these downloads, but bear in mind, what I would say, as you're channeling the information that's coming through, one of the things that I find helps myself is to be able to meditate. As you're sort of meditate, just write it. It's called automatic writing. So it's like you're channeling the information directly from source, and you're literally just letting the pen flow. You're not even thinking about what you're writing, and that will actually give you an opportunity to be able to then reconstruct, okay, what it is that spirit is trying to tell you. Because if you're just going, if you're just word vomiting basically as you're receiving the downloads, your conscious mind, because it's like it can only perceive bits and pieces of information at a time, whereas the subconscious mind is infinite, right? You will basically distort a lot of the information that you're getting by way of downloads. So what I would say to you is write the stuff down, guys. Writing is going to be very, very important for you, and it will actually allow for you to get a little bit more clarity on where spirit's trying to take you. I'm not going to say that you're going to get an entire clear picture by the month of July is over. I don't think that that's the case, but I do think that you'll be able to start to see, whoa, I'm actually dope. Like, whoa, the universe actually thinks this much of me. And then you can actually start to see how amazing you are, and you can actually start to, you know, work towards embodying that vibration, because the universe already thinks that much of you. It's just that you have to activate that layer of your consciousness. Okay, let's go into the week-to-week scope, guys, because there's a lot taking place for you guys. It's beautiful though. What I can see is that there may be some travel that's involved. So you guys are probably doing a lot of astral traveling throughout this month, because you guys are sort of going through solar returns around the end of the month as well. So yeah, just stay engaged, stay open to the process. What do you see for my Leo babies for the month of July, spirit? Okay, so what I'm seeing is that spirit's sort of saying that there's there's been a lack of accountability in a lot of situations. This may be your energy, or this may be somebody else's energy, but there's been a lack of accountability that needs to be addressed. And it's almost like you guys are sort of going through a process where you are learning how to be able to be a little bit less moody. Somebody's been moody lately, and they haven't necessarily been communicating effectively what it is that's causing them to be moody. I think that they're still trying to process their feelings, or they're still trying to figure out exactly what it is that they're feeling. But I understand, like, the chapter that was June, thankfully, is over, but it was a very insightful month. It brought a lot of emotional purging for us to be able to navigate through this month, because there was, like, literally, we had eclipses after eclipses navigating through the month of June. So it was really clearing out a lot. And if you're still holding on to the energy that the eclipses were actually trying to help you to clear out, just have conversations, guys. Like, really just engage in open and honest conversations, because I'm seeing that that's what will really help you to be able to clear any blockages that you may be having in your crown chakra that may be sort of distorting a lot of the information and downloads that you're having. It may sort of even be insecurities that you're carrying that is basically blocking your crown chakra, because you're thinking all of these low vibrational experiences of yourself, or focusing on these low vibrational experiences of yourself, and it's kind of like blocking all of these insights that Spirit's trying to gift to you. What I am seeing is that as you're navigating through the month of July, you're going to be doing a lot of education, guys. There's definitely going to be some sort of apprenticeship situation happening, where you're going into your inner tuition, you're going into your inner schooling of self this month, is what I want to say to you guys. We do have a couple of major transitions that's taking place. So the first thing is the Capricorn lunar eclipse full moon on Sunday the 5th of July, and that's actually taking place in your, from what I can see, it's taking place in your 6th house. And the 6th house is all about debts. It's all about karmic debts. It's all about financial debts. It's all about debts in terms of our employment situations as well. And this is what I was saying, delegate certain tasks. If it's too much for you, delegate, guys, because I think the first week is going to be teaching you how to be able to utilize your skills and how to utilize the skills of others. I am seeing that the first week is probably going to be one of your more challenging weeks of July, simply because I'm hearing something about November and December. So it seems like whatever you're navigating through this month, you'll be able to see the cultivation and harvest of it. Well, I want to say the cultivation of it by November, roughly the end of November, maybe early December. You'll be able to see the cultivation harvest period by next Leo season, okay, by your next solar return. So just do this groundwork that you're sort of navigating through right now, because it's very, very crucial. I'm hearing it's very important. Okay, so what is the first week of July looking like? Okay, first week of July, guys, is really looking, it's looking like you're at a place, guys, where you're really learning how to do things in a way where you're learning how to ground yourself. There's best way that I can put it, you're persevering as you explore your free spirit. You're also persevering the expectations of others and your own lower expectations of yourself. What I'm also seeing is that there may be some sort of element of competition or challenge, which again, that's not surprising, because the Capricorn full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 6th house. So the 6th house is all about challenges and opposition as well when we're talking about debt. So you are going to persevere against whatever karmic debts you're navigating through in the first week, but you need to be able to be that free spirit that you are, to be able to navigate through it. A lot of it feels like, again, it feels like lack of accountability and dishonesty, and those are some of the things that you're going to have to be completely open, transparent and honest about, so that you can get to this perseverance that Spirit's trying to give to you. I'm feeling like some people are going to get very emotional, and that may be a part of the resistance, basically, you know, not wanting to be able to be vulnerable. But honestly, like, there is so much beauty in vulnerability. Like, that is literally how we grow, guys. So just allow for it to really, you know, go deep within itself. Hey, beautiful. Hey. I'm going to have a look and see what's going on in your second week, because it seems like the second week is where you're actually starting to release some of your personal frustrations. The second week seems like that's where you're dealing with a lot of mental torment, but you're actually releasing it. So in order for us to, again, and it's really, it feels really sort of tricky to navigate, but in order for us to face our fears, we have to go through our fears. We can't go around it. We can't go under it. We can't go over it. We can't get over it. We have to go through it. That's where the breakthrough is. And in order for us to have that breakthrough moment, we have to actually break through it. So what is the second week looking like for my Leo babies for the month of July? Because it seems like they're going through a lot of intense energies. Okay, so the second week for you guys, it seems like you're going through a transition. Okay, interesting. Seems like you guys are going through a transition by the second week. But, because I always like to keep it troll with you guys, I'm never going to give you guys, you know, a half truth here. What I'm seeing is that there is going to be breakdown in communication. And I've already sort of put that across to you guys already. Sometimes that needs to happen. Okay, sometimes there needs to be a breakdown. Conflict is necessary sometimes because that's where change happens. Triggers are important for growth. Triggers actually, they trigger growth. Interestingly enough, they trigger maturity if we can navigate through it openly. But what I'm seeing is that the second week of July for you is definitely a week of a transition that you're going through that is going to require some emotional breakdowns. I can see that your home situation is going to be a little bit shaky by the second week of July. So there may be situations within your romantic partnerships, even if you guys are sort of like in a home with other people, you're going to feel like, oh my god, I need to actually take a minute to myself because this is too much for me right now. You may find yourself as well with your home situation as well, you may find yourself overworking yourself in the second week. And I can't say it enough, guys. Delegate. Stop taking everything on for yourself. I could already see that that was like the story that you guys were telling for this chapter of July. But delegate. It doesn't actually have to be all about you doing everything. It really isn't. And the reality is it's not even you doing anything. Like, Source is working through you, and Source needs to be able to utilize as many men, women, and beings as possible. So delegate, because that's one of the things, and I said this already, if you continue to do the things that you're doing right now, you only continue to go through resentment. Why? Because you're going to find yourself feeding your sense of lack of worthlessness. Okay, it's like a lack of self-worth that you're perpetuating the cycle of by telling yourself that you need to do everything on your own. That's not true. There's people that can help you. You are worthy of receiving help. You actually just have to be willing to receive the help. Okay, what I'm seeing for you guys in this second week, guys, as well, it seems like the sort of energy that you're navigating through for the second week is a disregard for consequences. So there's going to be a lot of sharp communication that's taking place. You're going to be feeling the energies of the Mercury retrograde basically in the second week of July, which I can understand because, you know, that's kind of like the final week of the Mercury retrograde. So it's just like giving us an opportunity to like flush out anything that we hadn't necessarily dealt with in the first couple of weeks of the Mercury retrograde. But the second week of July is going to be your breakthrough point, guys. That's where you're going to be having a tower moment. Okay, and tower moments aren't bad, guys. It just means that there's a sudden change that's taking place. It does look like things are basically breaking down, but sometimes things have to break in order for it to break through. Literally orange breakthrough. Okay, it's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. What is the third week of July looking like for my Leo babies? Because it seems like this is a lot of tricky energies. Okay, it's a lot going on for your third week. Guys, you are dealing with a lot for this season of your experience by the looks of it. I don't even know if I'm going to have room for the cards that you guys that you guys are needing for this transition that you're navigating through. So let's have a look here and see. What I can see is that a lot of you guys are actually going through a financial recovery during this month of July. But there's, again, the thing that keeps showing up is that you have to utilize your latent skills, guys. There's certain things, there's certain skills that you have that you haven't tapped into yet. And Spirit's saying, if you want the outcome that you want, you must utilize this skill. You must activate this skill so that you can get the desired outcome. What I'm seeing here is that there is going to be, there's going to be somebody generous actually giving you something. Again, I told you, you're going to have to delegate and ask for what you need from people. What I'm seeing for you guys is that there's an opportunity coming in, a financial opportunity that's coming in because you're going through a financial recovery, right? But it seems like at the same time, what I want to say is that it seems like as this financial recovery is coming into place, it seems like you're having to learn how to balance things. You're having to learn how to be a little bit more organized. Okay, this is the opportunity that's coming in for you guys. You're having to learn how to be a little bit more organized. I can see as well that you are navigating through, how can I put it? This is a higher power calling over your life. That's just the best way that I can put it. This is a higher power calling over your life. And the third week of July, which is July 20th, we're going to have a Cancer new moon, and Cancer for you is actually your 12th house. So I can understand these cards here because this is all about your subconscious programming, guys. Subconsciously, there's a higher power calling that is taking place, and Spirit saying stay optimistic about the disorganization. Don't worry too much about the disorganization because you'll learn how to stabilize in due time. It doesn't all have to be perfect right here and now. You just need to learn how to hone the craft, and Spirit will then be able to teach you more about the structure. Okay, and try not to sort of like, you know, when like those depressive thoughts come in, try your best to be able to communicate with people, because I'm seeing that one of the things that I said already, you'll be dealing with restlessness. Try to communicate to people what's going on in your mind, because the Cancer new moon is going to be quite impactful for you because it's happening in your 12th house. So it's going to cause a lot of psychological imbalances for you. Okay, the third week, it looks like you're actually going through this recovery and learning how to be a little bit more optimistic about the challenges that sort of taking place, the betrayals that you've kind of gone through. You're learning that they're actually making the outcome that you intend. You know, it's actually showing you what you're capable of, you know. So it's beautiful. What's going on in the 4th week of July for my Leo babies? Where are they in the 4th week, Spirit? Because they seem like they're navigating through a lot. Oh, that's nice. You guys are at the world. Okay, so by the 4th week, you guys would have completed the cycle. Okay, there's something that happens in the 3rd week that will be able to give you this opportunity to transition and stabilize. Okay, you'll be able to really see that everything that you have been going through from the first half of this year was basically bringing you to this moment that is taking place on the 4th week, in the 4th week of July. It's not going to be the be all and grail and end all of everything. I don't want to give you guys any false hope, but what I'm saying is that the 4th week, you'll be able to get to a place where you've completed the cycle of just being disorganized, just being completely disorganized. Let yourself receive help, guys. That's the main thing that I'm hearing for you guys. Just let yourself receive help. I don't know what the resistance, well, I do know what the resistance is, because they keep saying that it's a lack of self-worth. You don't necessarily feel worthy of receiving the help. Maybe you feel like you've had help before in the past, and at the drop of a dime that help left, because that's what I'm hearing subconsciously. They're saying that it's kind of like a fear that if I receive the help, then I am at the will of somebody else. I'm literally waiting for them to decide that they don't want to help me anymore, and then that's the end of the situation. Sometimes rejection is God's protection. Okay, sometimes certain tides move out because the lands needs to be able to stabilize for a minute. When you think about the waters, you know, the tides come in and out. Sometimes there are seasons that end because you're actually, as an island, you're learning how to stand still on your own amidst the storm. Okay, and Spirit is basically saying you don't necessarily need to be living in fear of anybody hurting you. Nobody can hurt you guys. And I think that this is like the main reason why we keep going through, like, pretty much all the signs that I've read for so far has been dealing with navigating through Queen of Cups energy. Why? Because we're insecure. It's almost like we're living in our reptilian mind in this fear-based perspective that we need to protect ourselves, or we need to do this, and we need to do that. And it's just like, Spirit's like, nah, bruh, that's a false narrative. Like, everybody is me. Like, everybody is me. You know, like, you don't need to protect yourself from me, because I am you. You are me. So Spirit is really just trying to give us an opportunity to get a little bit out of the reptilian mind and move a little bit more into the rational mind, where you can start to see a little bit more of the prospects of what's coming for you. Okay, I'm going to close out the space, guys. I feel like that was a long reading, but I'm going to close out the space and see what's going on for you guys in terms of romance. We're going to start with those that are living in Singleville. Okay, woo woo. And those who are, you know, in an entangled situation, so those who are in romantic relationships. And then we're going to be navigating to see for those who are basically in situationships, because I don't judge, and also we all need love, right? Sometimes it's complicated. Okay. Absolutely beautiful. We're all each other, you know, we're all each other. I'm gonna grab that because it seems like what I want to say is that the singletons, those that are living in Singleville for July, my Leo babies living in Singleville, you guys are really sort of I'm gonna grab the card. Yeah, you guys are navigating through soulmate connections. What I want to say about soulmate connections, these are the experiences that actually teaches us how to grow. These are the experiences that actually allows for us to become more and more the soul that we are within ourselves versus the ego's identity of the avatar. What I want to say is that it seems like there's a new love that's coming into your space. For some of you guys, you may not be ready, because I can see that you're still having resistance to receiving some of the blessings that Spirit is trying to bestow upon you right now. So you may not be ready to receive this romantic encounter, but there is a prospect that may potentially be coming in for you. Just to sort of, I don't want to say teach you, but it's almost to challenge you. It's kind of like challenge you to say, are you going to receive this love? Are you at that place where you have enough within yourself to be able to receive this? Are you whole within yourself just yet? For some of you guys, I can see that some of you guys may be resisting it because you're scared that you're going to get hurt again. And honestly, What I would say to anybody that's kind of like scared of heartbreak is, I know that it hurts, so I'm not going to be insensitive about it. Like, I know that sometimes when we love someone and we love really hard, right, and that situation doesn't necessarily meet our expectations, but it teaches us a really great lesson, and it teaches us how to not necessarily protect our heart, but how to continue to love in spite of the fact that our hearts have been broken, you know. And I think that that's what Spirit's really trying to give you an opportunity to do during this month of July. It may not even necessarily come in the way of romantic love. It may come in the sense of meeting your soul tribe this month, but you have to be willing to receive them. You have to be willing to open your heart to be able to engage. And I'm getting emotional because I can feel that for somebody, it's almost like it's too hard, it's too painful. What if they hurt me? What if they, you know, what if I let them in and then they just run off with my love and they misuse it and they abuse it? Guess what happens? Your love grows. Your love grows. Like, love is unconditional. It's very tricky for us to navigate through as humans, because we actually have to sort of like feel the pain of that within our hearts. But love grows and it's unconditional. And if somebody hurts you, guess what? You grow more love. That's just what happens, man. And if you don't grow more love, you start to disconnect from yourself, because it took unconditional love to create you. You came here through the process of unconditional love. So be your authentic self. Receive it. Okay. What's going on for my Leo babies that are in relationships? There's a lot going on in the space, beautiful. What's going on for my Leo babies in relationships for the month of July? As clearly as you can, Spirit, because I can see that there's a lot. Yeah, thank you. Oh, give your relationship a chance, guys. This is what I'm saying to you guys. Like, give the relationship a chance. You don't have to worry about getting hurt. If you are hurt, guess what? You patch yourself up. Like, the universe isn't conspiring to break you down. The universe is conspiring to allow for you to grow through the breakthrough moments that you're having. It really isn't trying to break you down. Give the relationship a chance, because the thing is, if you don't give it a chance, you're only taking away from yourself. You're only blocking your own blessings. And as much as it may seem like, you know, you're blocking the other person's blessings, or you're trying to basically protect yourself from them, whatever the situation is, maybe they seem like they want to protect themselves. I'm going to say this because there's some people that may be going through very difficult situations. They're showing me situations that may have stuff to do with psychological manipulation, emotional manipulation, people that are going through domestic situations where they are still navigating through whether or not they need to go back into that space. I'm not going to advise you on that situation because I don't think it's my place. But what I am going to say is, from my own personal experience, and this may be like shock to the system, I've actually navigated through domestic violence relationships, and I have a scar in my back from when I was like probably 19 or 20 from a relationship that I was in then, a long-term relationship. And what I learned was that I didn't feel worthy. It was something within myself that didn't feel worthy. And I continued to cast this person in roles. I continued to cast them in these characters of things that was playing out in my subconscious mind. Because as a child, a lot of the times, parents don't necessarily realize, and this is like old school way of raising children, where they beat the kids. You know, I was a product of that. And I can actually attest to the fact that that worked for me, because it helped me to become disciplined. But what it did do was create this story in the back of my mind that violence is love. So what I would say to you in terms of that card, if you're navigating through a situation like that where you may be in a domestic situation, give yourself a chance. Give yourself an opportunity to experience true love, honest love, insightful love. Because what I learned from that situation, from my own personal experience, was that we were both broken people, just fighting, like demons fighting each other, basically shadows fighting each other, and we had so many traumatic experiences that we hadn't necessarily dealt with, and it just played out in that relationship, to the point where that person was still carrying guilt. Maybe 7 years after the relationship, Spirit created a window of opportunity for us to actually have a conversation, for me to let him know, like, I forgave you a very long time ago. You know, I understood that we were both broken kids trying to have adult relationships, but we were just playing house. We didn't have any tools to actually be able to have a genuine, open relationship, and we couldn't love each other then because we didn't know what healthy love looked like. So what I would say to you, if you're navigating through that kind of situation, give yourself a chance to be able to experience healthy love. And it's not to say that the person that you're with doesn't love you. They just don't know how to love you in a healthy way, because they're dealing with a lot of toxicity within the environment, within themselves, and they're dealing with a lot of wounds that they haven't necessarily dealt with. And equally, because you are me and I am you, you guys are a reflection of each other. So there's a lot of wounds that you haven't necessarily addressed yourself, which is allowing for you to engage in that kind of relationship dynamic. And if this is something that you have gone through or are currently going through, take the time to develop more of a relationship with yourself, is what I'd say. Because we're navigating through codependency as well. That's the thing with the Queen of Cups energy, where Spirit is basically teaching us how to be less codependent. And codependency means energies kind of not being whole within themselves and feeling the need to feed off each other. Take some time to find your wholeness for yourself, because without it, you will struggle to be able to experience healthy love. Okay? I guess I did have something for you. My bad. Because literally when I was like, I don't want to comment on that, Spirit's like, nope, you've got your own personal experience. And I guess I was just being guarded as well. And I guess from my own personal experience, I could literally understand what you're navigating through. So yeah, I hope that was useful for you guys. That was a moment of vulnerability for myself there. I guess my ego is going to have a discussion with me later about the fact that I was so vulnerable. We shall see how that goes. What is the overall guidance for, so for those of you guys that are living in your situationships, guys, very soon, okay? Very soon, if you're navigating through a situationship, I want to say that very soon, you will be able to decide what you want. I think what's happening is that you guys are basically indecisive. You love this person, but there's parts of them that you don't necessarily like. I appreciate you too, beautiful. I appreciate you. You love this person, but there's parts of them that you don't like. And I think because of the fact that when I say there's parts of them that you don't like, there's certain actions that they do, there's certain things that they say, there are certain characteristic traits that they have that challenges your ability to love them unconditionally. And I think because of that, you are indecisive about whether or not you want to engage in the relationship, or vice versa. This energy may be something that is coming in at you. What I would say is, free yourself, okay? Free yourself from this indecision. Like, you love this person. Focus on that. The stuff that you are challenged by, find a way to be able to effectively communicate to this person. You're not here to change anybody. All you can do is change yourself, okay? Observe how it actually impacts you. Observe how it actually allows for you to feel in that moment. When you're triggered, like, your body becomes so tense, right? It's almost like everything is flowing incorrectly. Your body's just like, oh my God, I'm out of sorts, help. When those moments happen, just take an opportunity to breathe into yourself, breathe life into your body, because your body is living in the vibration of fear at that point. So breathe life into your body, and life is the opposite of fear, okay? Fear is death, okay? Fear is death of our desires. Breathing life into our desires allows for us to shift our perspective. So when you find yourself going through those situations where it's like, oh, I love you, but I really don't like you right now, try and find the best words to articulate that. Try and find the best words to articulate it. Why? Because you're not going to be able to change them, but you may be able to give them an opportunity to become self-realized. You don't change them. They change themselves through self-realizations. So find your words and utilize them as effectively as possible. Okay, because what I'm seeing is that Spirit is asking you to free yourself. So communicate your inner unicorn, man. You are awesome. Okay, communicate your inner unicorn. Like, you're a magical being in this existence. Communicate from that place within yourself. And Spirit saying that you'll actually be able to create a new love in this space. Your relationship will actually be able to transcend your current reality. Okay, whew, that was a whole lot, guys. I feel like I gotta shake that off. But thank you guys so much for sort of like stopping into this space. I'm actually gonna love you guys and leave it there now, because I feel like my ego is going to have, like I said, a little bit of a conversation with me. But I like to be as transparent as possible, because if I'm transparent with you, then that allows for you guys to be transparent with me as well. And I'm really, trying to engage my heart in a world that is transparent, because I'm tired of wearing a mask, and I'm tired of engaging in other people's masks and pretending like I don't see them, or having to put them up, or I'm just tired of doing that whole thing that we did before. Like, the new earth is here, the new earth energy grids are here, and I really want to tap into that, and the only way for us to really be able to move forward in this new earth grid is through transparency. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you so much for stopping into the space. I'm going to love you guys and leave it there, because I feel like I'm going to go off on a tangent and start having a completely different conversation now that the reading's over. But if you guys, because I'm going to have this up on my YouTube channel, guys, if you guys are watching this via my YouTube channel, give me a thumbs up. Let me know how you like the content. If you like my vibe and you want to be part of the tribe, subscribe. I'd be happy to have you, man. Let's live a more transparent, open, beautiful, unconditional, loving life. Okay, guys? I'm gonna love you guys and leave it there for you. As per usual, guys, I'm sending you guys nothing but love, light, and positive intentions for the journey ahead. And until next time, beloveds, namaste. Mwah. God bless. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more.